welcome to Freedom is a Constant Struggle on this January 21st, 2016. A very special date for me because it was the day my son was born. And happy birthday, Mike. Uh, and it's also the week we're celebrating another birthday of a very great man, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And I also here as my guest is Pierre Lavoisier, and we're going to be talking about Haiti and Father, or I'm rather President Jean Bertrand Aristide. Both Dr. King and Aristide are liberation were and are liberation therap- uh, liberation theologists. And I'm going to share some footage of both King and Aristide, also known as Titide by Haitians who love him. Uh, and Sydney Madison, our beautiful board op, is going to share that with you now.
December 20th, 1956, the Supreme Court ruled segregated buses to be unconstitutional. This was a major victory for the civil rights cause and proved King's nonviolent methods of protest could yield results. King was now the national face of the civil rights cause. He was jailed over 20 times, was once stabbed in the chest, his house was bombed, and he suffered relentless personal attacks on himself and his family. For a man of peaceful intentions, he unfortunately spent much of his life the target of violent intent. Yet the threats
Are we back? Okay, yes, of course. So you just heard Dr. Martin Luther King. We're going to share another short clip of Dr. King in a moment. That clip, of course, dealt with his activism. And of course, as we know, Dr. King fought hard for civil and human rights.
So what we must all see is that these are revolutionary times. All over the globe, men are revolting against old systems of exploitation, and out of the wounds of a frail world, new systems and of justice and equality are being born. The shirtless and barefoot people of the earth are rising up as never before. The people who sat in darkness have seen a great light. We in the West must support these revolutions. It is a sad fact that because of comfort, complacency, a morbid fear of communism, and our proneness to adjust to injustice, the Western nations that initiated so much of the revolutionary spirit of the modern world have now become the arch anti-revolutionaries. This has driven many to feel that only Marxism has the revolutionary spirit. Communism is a judgment. And in a sense, communism is a judgment of our failure to make democracy real and to follow through on the revolutions that we initiated. Our only hope today lies in our ability to recapture the revolutionary spirit and go out into a sometimes hostile world, declaring eternal opposition to poverty, racism, and militarism. With this powerful commitment, we shall boldly challenge the status quo and unjust mores, and thereby speed the day when every valley shall be exalted, and every mountain and hill shall be made low, and the crooked places shall be made straight, and the rough places plain. May I say in conclusion that is a need now more than ever before for men and women in our nation to be creatively maladjusted. As Mr. Davis said, And I say to you that I choose to be among the maladjusted. As my good friend Bill Coffin said, there are those who have criticized me and many of you for taking a stand against the war in Vietnam and for seeking to say to the nation that the issues of civil rights cannot be separated from the issues of peace.
And just to add to what you heard Dr. King say, I'll quote from him: "We must rapidly begin the shift from a thing-oriented society to a person-oriented society. When machines and computers, profit motives, and property rights are considered more important than people, the giant triplets of racism, extreme materialism, and militarism are incapable of being conquered," unquote. And that said, I want to turn to my guest, Pierre Labossiere, co-founder of the Haiti Action Network, the Haiti Action Committee, and yes. I'm mixing it up with the website. The website is HaitiSolidarity.net.
That's correct.
And of course, Pierre has been active. I don't know anybody more active than Pierre. I really don't.
I know one I'm sitting next to her, Kilo.
I cannot possibly keep up
Kilo.
with you. But in any case, I don't know, for the last 40 years you've been active in behalf of Haiti?
Yes.
Easily.
Mm-hmm. Along with a number of people
course,
as well.
and you've worked closely with, first with Father Jean-Bertrand Aristide when he was a parish priest.
No, I was actually in the U.S. at the time, so I didn't meet him. I met him briefly in 1990, 2 months before maybe 3 months before he ran for the presidency.
Right.
And at that time, I had no clue he was going to run. And you're right, I met him. He was a parish priest. And we happened to meet when he was talking to some people, and they invited me into the conversation, just opening up, and I was just waiting there at La Famille C'est la Vie and to visit. And I said, and we got into the conversation, just having fun. And then I said, wait a minute. I said, I recognize the voice. I said, are you Father Aristide? And he said, yes. So we hugged each other. I said, if you allow me, brother, you're doing fantastic work. And that's when we met for the very first time.
Talk about the work that he was doing.
At that time, I was visiting La Famille C'est la Vie, which is a center for homeless youth. And President Aristide had founded this after seeing so many children on the streets, homeless, who were not going to school, not eating right, who were being abused, mistreated by the Haitian military and also by society in general. They had all kinds of names for them. They were treated with contempt. And so he befriended some of them, and they came into his church, and he had a congregation, meet those kids. And during the Mass, and actually the kids talked about their life on the streets as part of the sermon. And so people were so moved that they said, we cannot, as a society, as a congregation, allow for this to happen. We must do something. And so one of the boys at the time, his name was C'est la Vie. And so the people said, we will be your family. So La Famille C'est la Vie. But C'est la Vie also...
C'est la Vie means that's life.
It means that's life. So it's a beautiful thing.
So
the family is life, or they are the family of C'est la Vie. So it worked both ways. And Kilo, that center symbolizes today as well the very ideal of putting people before profits,
right,
of putting our children before profits, of valuing our lives. Black lives matter. The
right,
children's lives matter. And so, and that was the launch of this in I believe it was in 1986 or 87. I'm fuzzy on the years, but it's been a long time. And would you believe that Center for Homeless Youth was attacked by the Haitian military? They burned it down at least on 4 occasions, and at different times killing those young people while they were sleeping. They were burned in the fire. Some of them were taken out, kidnapped, never to be heard from again. And this is the that's the Haitian military. The same military that
This was Papa Doc, John.
Baby Doc had fled Haiti, so the
Duval,
military was still there. You see,
Right.
so even though the dictator had fled, but we
I
hadn't
see.
gotten
That's right. You
rid
said
of.
87.
That's right, of the
They had fled in
dictatorship.
86.
That's correct. But the dictatorship was still there,
Right.
fully supported by the U.S. government
Oh,
and a
yes.
number of other governments
Oh, yeah.
who claim to be democratic. So, so La Famille C'est la Vie was that beautiful center, and it symbolized the hope. And by the way, this is the same military. I know in the U.S. people talk about 9/11. There was 9/11 in the U.S., an abominable crime. But in Haiti as well, we had an abominable crime too. On September 11th, 1988, when Father Aristide's church, Saint Jean Bosco, was attacked by the Haitian military with the support of plainclothes Tonton Marcouts and other soldiers, and they attacked this congregation while they were praying during Mass. Killed, nobody knows how many. I've heard figures ranging from anywhere to 25 up to 35 people were massacred during Mass, and they burned the church down. So today, the burned out shell of the church still remains, and it's a place of hope. It's a place where people gather. Every demonstration that is now ongoing in Haiti, they start generally at Saint Jean Bosco at that church. So I bring those things up because they have relevance today. And every day when demonstrations are starting, that's where they start from the burned out shell of that church.
Yeah.
Because of
and
what
one of
it
the things
represents.
that's stuck in my memory about Aristide when he was still a priest was that I remember this reading about how somebody came to the church and he was preaching held a gun, pointed a gun at Aristide and threatened to kill him right then and there.
Yes.
Do you remember that?
Yes,
Talk
I've
about
read
what
that
happened.
story. And the gun misfired. And so President Aristide stood there looking at it. And the congregation, everybody was frozen, according to the account I've read. And so people eventually washed the man. And so, they were able to save President Aristide. But that was, and there have been other attempts
There
too.
were
I talked
a
about
few
the
other
burning of the
attempts,
church and
on his life.
on his
He had
life.
incredible courage.
Oh, incredible courage, continues to have it, and he's so beloved by the people of Haiti.
Yes.
Because his life has been continues to be a life of service to people. Right now, he has reopened the University of the Aristide Foundation. And talk about a crime where in Haiti, very few people from the poor, from the impoverished population, very few are able to attend university,
Right.
even secondary education, primary education as well.
Exactly.
But the
Yeah.
numbers, as the higher you go in terms of levels of education, it keeps decreasing. So he founded this university when he was the president. Do you know during the coup d'etat of 2004, those big powers that invaded Haiti and kidnapped President Aristide, namely the US, France, and Canada, they took over the university. The School of Medicine that was there to provide doctors for the Haitian population. At that time, it was one doctor for every 20,000 people. And so we needed doctors. They shut down the schools, kicked out the students, turned the school into military barracks. And these are the civilizers. These are the ones who are bringing us democracy and civilization. And they are still there in Haiti occupying the country.
I know. And the UN is their military.
Yes, the UN actually provides
Their
that UN
occupation,
flag.
The occupying army.
Exactly. And they are using armies from the School of the Americas, all of the brutal armies that were trained in the US, trained by France and others, and they are the ones occupying Haiti. In the 12 years now, it's going to be 12 years of this occupation as of February 29th, 2016, because the coup took place on February 29th, 2004, the year of our bicentennial. The economic conditions of the population have never been worse. And even though they were making all of these promises that Haiti will be a land of milk and honey, that everybody will have so much, once you join us and help us get rid of Aristide. But I have to say, the majority of the population didn't fall for that. They knew it was a pack of lies. But those who had fallen for it are now every day making excuses, presenting excuses to the Haitian population, presenting apologies, saying how wrong they were to have joined, to have betrayed their country, and to have done this and caused the death of over 10,000 people and the destruction of the Haitian economy. This is what's going on today, Kilo. Right. And it's terrible what's happening. And they are continuing in this path of destruction. Right now, they have imposed upon us Michel Martelly as the president, and when I say they, I have to put some names. Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, who headed the State Department of President Obama. Shameful, shameful. They imposed this man, Martelly, who did not get any mandate of the people. Yeah, exactly. I believe he was either number 4, number 5 on the list. And she intervened directly and put him in there in the runoff as the second place finisher. And there was a lot of shenanigans played, because even the man who heads the Electoral Council, Pierre-Louis Aupont, he admitted in July, he admitted that the results of the elections of 2010 or 2011 were not the results that he had presented, were not the ones that eventually reached, that were implemented.
Right.
So, and this is the man. Election. It was fraudulent. And this is the man now who continues. When you do something bad, you make amends. You say, I'm so sorry I did this. But to be doing a repeat of that thievery, the same man, Pierre-Louis Aupont, that's abominable. And he's doing it again under and following the dictates of the U.S., France, and Canada.
Bill Clinton has decided since the earthquake of 2010 that he's the self-appointed czar of Haiti.
Oh, indeed.
It's unbelievable.
Indeed.
But I wanted to also, point out the similarity between Aristide and King.
Yes.
In their fight for the poor people.
Exactly.
Okay? That's one of the reasons I wanted to juxtapose them.
Yes.
Because they both believed strongly in serving the people, and they were both willing to risk their lives. I don't share their religious convictions, but they had the courage of their convictions, Indeed. Which I highly respect.
That's correct.
And they are not hypocrites.
That's right.
They love the people, they serve the people, and the people love them. Let's go to the film clips of Aristide.
Yes,
with the help of Sydney.
Jean-Bertrand Aristide, the 37-year-old Catholic priest, enters the race less than 2 months before Election Day.
Nous marchons tant qu'on la balance qui passe et descend, lui descend, lui descend. Lui descend, lui descend, lui descend. Lui descend, lui descend. Et là, il faut le descendre. Et la libéré Haïti va bello. Et la libéré Haïti va bello.
A popular coalition known as La Valasse has drafted Aristide into the campaign. In Creole, Haiti's native language, La Valasse means flash flood. Along with the powerful image of a fighting cock, the flood symbolizes Aristide's campaign to end corruption. Aristide is well known throughout Haiti. As a priest, he delivers fiery speeches from his pulpit at St. John Bosco. At press conferences, he condemns the privileges of Haiti's elite and urges the church to work for political reform.
En d'autres termes, c'est la théologie de la libération qui devient un levier capable de soulever toute une jeunesse contre une génération corrompue, contre une mentalité d'église ou de société. société tout court. Côté, c'est la corruption qui apparaît comme l'écran qu'on contemple, mais qu'on vomit quand on est chrétien.
Father Aristide belongs to the Salesian Order of the Catholic Church. Salesians seek to emulate St. John Bosco by committing themselves to ending poverty and human suffering. It is part of a larger movement known as liberation theology.
We heard many stories of people who had relatives who were disappeared, or we met with Tielegly's church members, church workers, priests and sisters who were in hiding because the military was after them, simply for meetings, simply for having a picture of Aristide in their church.
It's terrible to see Haitians, soldiers, military men who were supposed to protect simple citizens, innocent citizens, unarmed civilians. We were supposed to protect them. They were the one killing them, and they are still doing that. They are the one raping children, women, sometimes in front of their parents, raping young children or raping parents. And it's terrible.
During the Cedras dictatorship, more than 4,000 people are killed, including prominent Aristide supporters. 250,000 people are estimated to be hiding from the military. More than 42,000 Haitians flee in small boats. United States Coast Guard and Navy vessels intercept some of them, detaining refugees in a camp at Guantanamo Bay or forcing them to return home. This tragedy and the influx of Haitian refugees into the United States put pressure on the Clinton administration to negotiate the restoration of Aristide's presidency. As talks proceed, the U.S. press reports that General Cedras and his colleagues in the Haitian military have been on the CIA payroll for more than a decade.
Oh, I think
2,000 years ago, one man was fighting to get justice. It was Jesus. And he's still alive. They kill his body, and they cannot kill justice. He is hope of justice for all those who are fighting to get justice.
I share the philosophy of President Aristide. I share the philosophy of Dr. King, of Gandhi. That's my style. That's the way I've been fighting all my life. But when you see soldiers shooting people in cold blood, you need to pray hard to God not to react violently.
Let's continue to prove how love is stronger than hate, how it's beautiful to give his life for people. That way, one day, I am sure of that, we will be somewhere to celebrate the way we are celebrating love here, and that somewhere, you know, his name is Haiti.
Aristide turns to Gandhi and King and says, we're going to build a new Haiti without using the military oppression, the violence, just the downright spirit of hatred that was used against us as a people for all these decades and centuries. That's why he's such a visionary, and the people of Haiti are such visionaries and a light to the world.
Gade nou nil kounya, nou mouri nou pou enterrer. Et moi-même, diare lan kom parce moi-même d'après moi-même pou m'ta sorti mwen fè, c'est président nan m'ta.
It sounds strange to say it, but the strongest sense of hope that I saw in Haiti is people's willingness to die. It really was hearing this very young Catholic nun say, we must prepare ourselves for arrest, for torture, and for death, because that's what it's going to take. We must speak out. And I saw a sober kind of hope people have tremendous hope in Aristide and that Aristide will return, but they also know Aristide could return and could be killed. So they know that the future depends upon them.
My hope lies on the fact that most of the people in Haiti now, they know their right and they want to fight to implement a new country. This is why I am hopeful. I know it's going to be very long, and I know that we will still have very, very difficult moments, maybe as bad or as difficult as the one that we are having now. But in the long run, I am sure that one way or another, the poor people of Haiti will make a new history.
Yeah. Cool. Yes, and the people of Haiti will make a new history, won't they?
Yep.
Right. And let's talk a little bit about Jean Juste.
Yes, Father Jean Juste, it was great to see him. And the comments he made several great comments about liberation theology. But one of the things that he said here that's so timely today, it's about this video that has surfaced. On Monday, there was a demonstration in Haiti, and the Haitian police, I believe it was on Tuesday, arrested a number of people. And there were 3 young men who were picked up, and they were tortured horribly in the police station. And apparently a video was made of that, and somehow the video is out, and it's all over the internet. And Kilo, I tell you, it's awful. And people in Haiti, even though the big media in Haiti, to their shame, did not put it out, but it got to circulate among people on social media from cell phone to cell phone. And so people are just outraged in Haiti. And this is the police that the United Nations, this supposedly premier human rights organization, which supposedly holds the standard to enforce human rights all over the world, they are the ones who train that police force. They are in charge of Haiti today.
Yes.
And it is happening with them.
Right.
They are responsible.
Yeah.
But yet, anything like that happens in a country in Africa or in a country of people of color, they'll haul you in front of one of their international tribunals.
Right.
Yet they've been killing our people in Haiti, and there is no action is taken. No one is held accountable.
That's just like it's exactly what happens here.
Precisely.
Who's been held accountable for Sandra Bland?
That's correct.
Who's been held accountable for Eric Garner? Who's been held accountable for Michael Brown?
That's correct. And these are the people who are always preaching human rights and democracy, and
Woods,
they're the champions.
Recently, 25 bullets. Woods.
25 bullets, indeed.
Really? Come on now.
Indeed.
It's and you know what was the fellow's name that got 16 bullets pumped into him in Chicago? Or was it Cleveland? I can't keep up.
Yes, a young man of 17 years old, and they kept the video hidden. They refused to release it.
Exactly.
And
Chicago,
Rahm Emanuel, he's got to go. But this is the kind of hypocrisy, you see, that people are being fed. And so this video, listening to Father Jean Juste talking about that, and when he said you have to pray hard, he's talking about himself as a man who's non-violent, and he was talking about, at that time, about the military that President Aristide had disbanded, you see. And he said you have to pray hard when you witness these things that you don't get violent, because this is against his principles.
Right.
But people in Haiti have been horrified at this. And
my own illness keeps me from getting violent.
No, and this is what's going on, and it's been, and also I want to mention that this current police force and the dictator Martelly is talking about has been slowly restoring the Haitian military, that brutal military, and who is helping him do that? It's Ecuador, who supposedly is leftist government, Brazil, who claim to be leftist as well, and it's others, and many of those in Latin America who pretend to be leftist governments and who are part of the OAS and are supporting these atrocities that are being committed in Haiti.
But talk about who's helping Haiti.
Well, in Haiti, the people who are helping.
I'm talking about a country, Latin America or Caribbean.
Yes, we've had the Cubans have been providing a lot of medical, a lot of doctors in Haiti, and providing some assistance, a great deal of assistance in terms of doctors and what have you. Also, Venezuela had started pretty well. But you know, Kilo, there has been a lot of collusion between the Venezuelans and the ultra-right-wing government of Michel Martelly. So in a sense, you have a left government that's financing an ultra-right-wing government that's oppressing the people of Haiti. And I've shared that with many people, and I hope that it went into the ears of President Maduro, and I hope he's listening to my remarks right now as we speak. And this kind of cozying up to dictators and saying that you're socialist on the one hand, and on the other, you're working with people who are dictators, right-wingers. That's really
unconscionable. Let's talk a little bit about who this Martelly is. Just tell our viewers who may have never heard of him who this dude is.
Well, he is the current president of Haiti. He was handpicked, as I said earlier, by Hillary Clinton as the secretary.
Days.
Yes, and actually at the age of 15, some people say 16, according to various reports. According to reports, he has admitted that he was a card-carrying member of the Tonton Macoutes at that young age.
And those were the death squads. That literally translates to boogeymen.
Exactly, of Papa Doc Duvalier. And later on, when he died, his son took over the leadership of these guys.
They conducted a reign of terror.
A reign of terror. And it's been estimated between father and son, over 50,000 people were killed in Haiti. And
backed up by the U.S.
Backed up by the U.S. And that's what the video that's now on the internet about the torture session is bringing back the memories of those bad old days. That's not to say that things were not happening between then, since they are living, but it's just that it brought back to people in the talks of bringing back the army, which Martelly is saying. And also, Martelly has been part of the 2 coups d'etats that have stopped the march towards democracy that the Haitian people were establishing after the fall of Duvalier. So the first coup d'etat was in 1991, September 30th, against President Aristide. He was a young man. He took part in it, and an active part. And he was a good friend of the chief of police, Michel Francois. And they were both Michel, hence the name.
Dog.
Oh, definitely. And the name Sweet Mickey was actually a name for Michel Francois, a nickname for him, and also for Michel Martelly. It's been reported also that he was a member of the Ninjas. The Ninjas are these young men from the elite who used to dress all in black like ninja warriors. And during the 3 years of the coup d'etat, they used to harass and terrorize members of the grassroots movement. Some people have claimed that FRAP, F-R-A-P-H, which was another death squad that came in the wake of the demise of the Tonton Macoutes.
Yeah, what was the translation of that acronym?
It's the Front for the Advancement of the People of Haiti, or some revolutionary front, but it translated in FRAP.
Really
FRAP means
reactionary front.
Oh yes, and FRAP is like frappe, meaning hit, and their symbol was like a fist hitting a hand. So, but it symbolized what they were doing to the people. And so the Ninjas had a reputation of being even more brutal than the FRAP, you see. So he was reputed to be a part of that. Again, I say reported because that's in the press in Haiti, and many people have commented on that. And in 2004, he played a leading role in the coup d'etat to overthrow President Aristide in 2004 as well.
Right. Yeah.
So, and this is the man who is...
So apparently the U.S. has been grooming him.
Oh, most definitely. Yeah. And for someone and he's a man who, in his pronouncements, in his actions, is very, very vulgar. I mean, you Google him, the vulgarity that he uses, it's all over the internet. and he will cuss out women. One of the things that he did recently during the presidential campaign was to cuss out this woman who said, look, you're making all those promises for your candidate, but then, we are not seeing anything that you guys have accomplished, that you in your presidency, that you have accomplished. He cussed her out so bad, vulgar language, and even mentioned something about her being, making an allusion that maybe she needs a man, and he invited people in the audience to take her in the back. This was the kind of outrage, and to see Secretary of State, exactly, and that's not the first time, and he has said it over and over again at various instances, and to see someone like Secretary,
this is who Hillary Clinton decided should be installed, and there's a New York Times article out today about her defending her husband for his sexual, what do you say? What do you call it? I don't know. His harassment of women and his rape of women, and she attacked the women, and the New York Times exposed it in an article today about how she not only defended him but attacked the women who came forward. Wow. Okay, so here she is supporting a known misogynist. Okay.
And there was no reaction from her when all of these things surfaced in Haiti.
Yeah.
No reaction from her at all.
And women in this country are holding her up as a symbol of feminism? Give me a break.
So both here in Haiti and in Haiti, we see that. There is no, and this has been done by Martelly in public. No reaction at all. On the contrary, what we are seeing is full support continually for Martelly, and the U.S. is pushing now for him to continue remaining as president, even though he has never, during his whole 5 years of office, he has never put forth any attempt to do elections, even at the local level. He preferred appointing people in positions. Those were his cronies, you see, so that he could have really a strengthened dictatorship in the country.
Another one of the U.S. delivering democracy deliverances.
Precisely, precisely. And so what we have today, even though he has made all those comments, we never heard anybody, not from former Secretary Hillary Clinton, not from President Obama, through his State Department, to say, look, we made a mistake and this guy is no good. No, on the contrary, they are now advising Martelly on how to crack down on the Haitian people who are demanding their right to vote, who are demanding that their vote be respected, who are demanding that there be a new election, because the elections that had occurred have shown themselves to have been clearly so fraudulent that, Kilo, I tell you, it's impossible.
I want to go back a little bit, Pierre, to the election of Martelly, when Lavalas, the party of Aristide, and Lavalas means cleansing flood, Lavalas was banned, and you said only about 16 or 17% turned out to vote.
That's correct.
Okay. Now, in the election of 2000, and I remember it, Aristide got 90% of the vote, and it was a huge turnout.
Yes, it was about 65% turnout.
Right. So now, fast forward
and this is despite a campaign of terror to prevent people from turning out to vote.
And despite the fact that Aristide didn't even campaign.
Exactly. The people campaigned for him.
There you go.
They just turned out, basically.
Yeah, en masse. All right?
Exactly.
And so now I lost my train of thought, but fast forward to the 2000 election is what I wanted to say. And he gets 90% of the vote, right? Okay, so I want to contrast that also, the Martelly, this vulgar, undemocratic fascist, right?
Right.
Contrast him with Dr. Maryse Narcisse.
Maryse Narcisse.
Maryse Maryse
Narcisse.
Narcisse.
That's correct.
Okay. And talk about her beginning with her support following the 2004 coup, when there was a reign of terror and tens of thousands of people were being killed.
Yes.
She
from what I heard about her story, the story of her life, is that she was one of those young people who was studying medicine, and at that time that was during the dictatorship of Baby Doc Duvalier. And so, but the medical school and that particular class was reputedly a very activist group of young people studying medicine, and they took many chances under the dictatorship of Baby Doc. And so she was the secretary of the group, and she was very active, and this is something I've recently heard about, because she doesn't go around bragging about what she's done. And it's other people who told me, who have known her, and who have told me this. And during the first coup d'etat, she, as the people of Haiti were taking to the streets in an attempt to block the coup, she went out there to block it. So Martelly was there pushing, actively involved in the coup. She was on the other side with the people of Haiti who were being shot and killed, stopping the coup. And she, as a medical doctor, went and was helping to develop clinics in various rural areas, providing poor people with medical care that they could not, they had no money to pay, doing free medical assistance for people. And later on, when President Aristide returned, she was part of the cabinet. And in 2004, she lived right through all that period of the coup. She was part of his staff in the palace. And she has been very active to try to keep Famille Lavalas intact as a political party, even though in the face of the assault by France, the US, Canada, the European Union, in their attempt to destroy this people's movement, this people's party.
Not to mention the UN.
Oh, definitely.
MINUSTAH.
MINUSTAH. And then she's been very, very strongly. So right now, she was picked by the party to be the presidential candidate representing Famille Lavalas.
And now that's a woman I would vote for.
Indeed, and you share the enthusiasm of millions of the people of Haiti.
Everything I've learned about her, and when you were here before, we showed some film footage of her.
Exactly.
And with the people.
Yes.
With crowds of people rallying, she's not afraid of the people.
And I was there in October when I saw how the people were embracing her. I saw it. I was present in many small towns where she stopped. People came out in droves to embrace her and wouldn't let her go,
Right, yeah.
And but it's someone because of what she represents and the work she has done. Very different from Martelly. Very different. The Lavalas party, from what I've seen, they have no money. They are basically running on fumes.
I heard that they were doing. She collected as campaign contributions. I don't know the name of the coin.
Oh, it's called an adoquin. It's a 5 gold piece. And 5 gold is
10 cents.
Yeah, it's about 10 cents. And there is videos of people bringing their adoquin. So in other words, no matter how poor you are, if you want to give more, you give more. But no matter how poor you are, you can make a sacrifice. You can give something. And that's part of their dignity. You see, there was a toy, a Christmas party, and during which, at the Aristide Foundation, during which a number of the children came. And they were to get toys and what have you. But each child was asked to give something, to give an adoquin. Not as payment, because those toys cost, but because it's to affirm their dignity, to know that it's a sharing. You see, they are contributing. And this is the kind of new Haiti that you saw former Prime Minister Claudette Worley mentioning there. It's a society that the people themselves are building, a new society, even though there is every attempt to crush it.
Right. And talk about the fraudulent election of October 25th.
That was, first we have August 9th.
Because the election results are not even in yet.
Yeah, well, they have cobbled up something. August 9th was terrible.
And
August 9th was the legislative. Yep. And there you had gangs of people with weapons who just came in and they were working closely with members of the CEP, the Electoral Council, with employees of the Electoral Council and phony observers, election observers, who would, whenever they saw masses of people showing up to vote, and they knew by the looks of the people, they supposed they were Lavalas, and they were not wrong, because in a community people know each other. So they would call out their goons, and those guys would show up with big guns and destroy the place, you see, and completely destroy the election. What happened is, what's going on now is that
somebody got killed.
Oh yeah, there were a number of people who got killed. Actually, I heard this woman candidate who said 2 of her people, and she gave an interview, very courageous sister, and she talked about how 2 of her supporters and friends and people in her entourage were shot, point blank range in their feet, you know, and wax were dropped on their bleeding feet. And it was horrible, right? But this is happening under the UN occupation.
Exactly.
The UN is there, present, with all their big soldiers and guns, and they are providing support for these assassins.
Monitoring the election and making sure.
Well,
it's
they were present, many of them, but they were actually supporting. So that's August 9th, and still they came out with results where handpicked people, many of them who are reportedly people involved in the drug trade, people who've been involved in all kinds of human rights abuses, were actually elected to office or selected. So everybody knows people are saying there was a secret list. And no matter what happened, these people were going to be installed in the Haitian parliament.
Right.
Now, the reason for that is so that they could change the Haitian constitution. It's so that they can have a parliament that will not look out for the interest of the people and just rubber stamp anything that the multinational corporations will present to them. It's to give away Haiti's mineral resources. It's to give away, it's to make legal all the land grabs, all the land that they are grabbing, stealing from the people, in which right now the people are resisting.
Oh,
and
didn't Hillary help her brother get some land in...
Yes, actually, her brother he received some kind of title to a gold mine in Haiti, or one of the very, I think if it's not the only one, but it's one of the it's hard to get, but he got that concession, so to speak. And so a lot of people, including the Republicans, have been hollering bloody murder and saying this is clearly unethical, or it shows
unethical, yeah,
to say the least.
Conflict of interest.
Conflict of interest.
Yeah.
So fast forwarding to October 25th.
Her brother's name is Billy Rodham.
Yeah, Rodham. Yeah,
Rodham.
Tony Rodham.
Tony Rodham.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so fast forwarding to October 25th, where we had the presidential election. That one, you didn't have so many, because there was such an uproar about these guys with guns and wrecking all of those places. So this time they did it in another way, you see. What they did was they had false ballots printed, and a number of those ballots were being filled out in the National Palace. They were being filled out in other places where even when and they were suppressing people. So people were turning out to vote, but in a number of places, I was receiving calls from friends of mine who were telling me, we are not being allowed to vote. They are telling us they cannot find our name. Does that sound familiar, Kilu? Yeah. Ohio, Florida, and so many. So and people were complaining.
Yeah.
So what happens is they deny the people their right to vote, and in some places where they couldn't stop this massive flood, in most places they couldn't stop it, they engage in a process to substitute false ballots, fraudulent ballots, for the real ones. You see? And so this was found out, that there are certified tally sheets, and this was found out by Fourmi Lavalas. Fourmi Lavalas did an investigation that was legally sanctioned by the courts in Haiti, and they went and they found out that of the 78 certified tallies that they reviewed, all of them were fraudulent.
Wow.
Since then, Martelly handpicked a commission. He handpicked of his own people, and they too found that 92% of the 1,700 of the certified tally sheets were all fraudulent.
Ooh.
Despite all of that, the U.S. Ambassador Peter Mulwin and others are saying, and the UN people, the OAS, are saying, well, they still have to have a runoff, and these are some of the best elections that Haiti has had. Well, there are some irregularities, and the people of Haiti are taking to the streets and saying, hell no, this is not going to happen. They are not going to accept it. They are standing up for their rights. And that's why they are being tortured. They are being killed by the police and by this military, by this new militia that Michel Martelly has unleashed on the people of Haiti.
And people, we have to stand up for Haitians. They are our neighbors. They are of course, we're far from them on the West Coast. But on the East Coast, from Florida, it's like, like from here to LA, by boat. It's 700 miles, right?
Oh, yes.
So,
very
I
close.
mean, come on, they're our neighbors. And, some of your strong swimmers could swim there. So we cannot allow this country to continue to oppress, exploit, enslave, and just continue to rip off and occupy the independent, sovereign nation of Haiti.
That's correct. And Kilo, some I wanted to mention that's so close to my heart around Dr. King. I love listening to him. But I want to tell you this. I really would love to see you go to Haiti. And I want you to stand at the corner of Martin Luther King and John Brown. There are two streets in Haiti. One is named after Dr. King. The other one is named after John Brown.
Wow.
So we got to stand on that corner together.
I know. Wouldn't that be wonderful? Oh, my goodness. Well, thank you, Pierre Labossiere of the Haiti Action Committee. HaitiSolidarity.net, folks. Go and get lots of information. Thank you, Sidney Madison, for doing a great job. Thank you for tuning in to Freedom is a Constant Struggle. I'm your host and producer, Kilu Nyasha. Until February 4th, all power to the people, and free all political prisoners, abolish the prison system, abolish the death penalty, liberate Haiti.
Free them all. Free all the political prisoners here in the U.S.
Yes,
definitely.
And in Haiti.
And in Haiti, there are many of them who are being picked up every
worldwide.
day. And as they stand for their rights, for the right to vote.
All right.